Welcome to our channel. This time around we went all the way to Jamaica. You know where that is? I crossed 7 seas and 7 mountains to go find Debbie in Jamaica. So I brought Debbie, I brought them all the way from Jamaica to this channel. So please, let's start with some patois. Rastafarian to tell me some. No, seriously, I need to converse with you as Jamaican to Jamaican.
Okay, so you're gonna be speaking patois too.
Why not? Of course. So,
let's try.
So let's do basic introduction in patois.
All right. Greetings, everyone. My name is Deborah. I am a historian. I don't know.
I'm not getting the patois part of this.
My languages are mixed.
I'm not getting the patois part of this introduction.
I never introduced myself in patois before. Okay.
Okay, we have to do it now. So.
All right.
Take your time. Take your time.
All right. I would say okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Deborah. I am a U.S. historian. I study the African Diaspora.
These two American.
It's too American. I'm so sorry. So sorry.
So, okay, let's conclude the introduction. So,
can I just introduce myself normally?
Yes, please.
All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Deborah Tullo. I am a U.S. historian. I am currently in a PhD program here at Northwestern University, and I study the African diaspora, specifically and its interactions with the United States culture, as well as like foreign policy. So that's what I'm all about.
Well, this is a U.S. historian, a black woman with Jamaican roots.
Yes.
So we want to discuss black women identity as part of our Black Women Identity series. And Deb is a perfect guest for this because we'll start by speaking patois. So, when I thought of creating a series, that I titled Black Women Identity Series. The big question I had is, how do black women today navigate this world, our world? The world has been evolving. We're in the United States, and even the US as we know it as a democracy is evolving. How are black women navigating this space in terms of their identity, in terms of moving around the world, and especially in connection to the Africanness? And for someone who has Afro-Caribbean roots, how is that for you? The very first basic question, are you American or Jamaican? What was that for you?
So,
tell us the story. What's the connection?
I am a Jamaican-American. I was born in New York, and I went to Jamaica when I was about 3 months. Afterwards, when I was 5, I came back to New York. So I lived in Jamaica the early part of my life, and almost every year I travel back and forth between the U.S. and Jamaica. I would say that my identity can be quite complicated, especially for people who interact with me. Being from New York, there's so many immigrant children, either second generation or they came directly from their nations and they grew up in New York from a young age, older, or sometimes like their parents came or they came like during college years. So there's like so many interactions of what it's like being an immigrant and then also being a black immigrant in America, and what is our connection to blackness both in the U.S. constructs and then also like our constructs from our previous homes. So like for me, it's always been a complicated question because I went to school in New York, and most of the history that we learned is Black American history. There's no I rarely ever had the chance of learning anything about Black Africans unless we were doing world history and it's like ancient times, or Black people in Latin America or in the Caribbean. So studying history was like my personal quest to get to understand like what does Blackness look like across borders, especially being Jamaican-American. I didn't learn much Jamaican history within my classes, and I wonder, like, why is it so limited to the civil rights movement? We barely talked about Black Power now, but the civil rights movement and slavery. Like, is that the only parts of history where my people really show up? But we've been here the same amount of time as somebody else, so it's like, okay, wait. Like, there's something more here. So for me, like, history was finding like a grounding in who I am as a person and understanding that like Blackness comes in so many forms and we have contributed so many things to the world. And my job as I thought it was my job, because I feel like when you choose your career, like when you're...
It becomes a job.
I know, like 17, 18, you're like, it's time to go to college or like choose like a trade or like, what am I going to do with my life as an adult? You think about it, I'm like, okay, what can I do that would be of value like to society and also myself? And that was history. And it was finding out like, okay, what can I share like in schools? I thought there was a fundamental problem with the history that we're talking about Black people like in schools and how that affects the psychology of young people when they're trying to make a life for themselves and feel like that they can contribute, that their society has institutions that would allow them to contribute in the ways that they want to and live their life to the fullest. So I'm like, you know what? Let me go and study history. Let me bring what we have done like to the K through 12 like curriculum. And through that process, like I went to college. I had a professor who like heard my story and like he made us do these he made us do like these essays like every week, because I took 2 classes with him by accident. I didn't know who the professor was for each class. It was to be determined. So I ended up taking 2 classes with him. So every week I had to write an essay where I would like relate to scholars and disagree with them and create my own like narrative of history and like what they may be missing. And I'm like, wow, I love this. Like the crafting of history and like how we do it. So it was more than just information. Like, let me bring information to people. It's like bring information, but also do the research in places that historians haven't been doing, or at least to my point of view, I didn't learn in the public sphere, like how it can like add to the knowledge base that we have, and then also like bring this knowledge further like to other people in the public sphere who may not have went to college, who are also growing up in America and really trying to see themselves as like as someone who can contribute, but then also like live their life to the fullest. So going back to your question now, like my identity, I am Jamaican-American. Like I have like a mix of both Jamaican and like American like culture. But if I were to really be specific, I would say like I'm part of the diaspora. I engage,
that's a lot of things, you know?
Yes, like I engage with different parts of the diaspora, and I love being from the African diaspora, and I listen to African music, from Afrobeats, like to South Africa, like Tyla's Emma Piano, and I love it. And then I listen to like music from Latin America, and I listen to music from the Caribbean and soca and everything.
You're a lot of things.
I am a lot of things, and I eat food from everywhere. And I'm like, you know what? I'm from the African diaspora, but I'm also like a part of this world. And a lot of times scholars were like, no, there's anti-Blackness in this world and people want us out. Like for me, it's like, it's radical to think that I am in and God put me here. Like from my Christian belief, it's like, God put me here on this earth for a reason, and I have space. And this is my world too. So I am also an international subject. This is my world. Okay. So that's how I see my life. That's my identity.
Okay, you're not making this simple for us. Okay. You're telling us that your identity is complex. And I agree, identity is complex. Even I myself, I'm a Nigerian, I'm an African. But if you look into me, you find out that even within Nigerian, I'm Igbo. Even within Igbo, I come from a specific kindred or a specific clan, a specific group of people, or there's some tribal markings that make me unique. You can go on and on to the family level. So the truth becomes that we all have complex identities. But when it comes to our everyday living, there are characteristics that we tend to lean towards. So those softer discourse, not the complex ones. Let's make it a little simpler. When it comes to, let's say, food, what food features more in your daily life? Is it some Jamaican food, some soul food, some African food, West African food, some Nigerian jollof? Have you had that?
Of course.
Is it some American burger? What features more? What features most in your everyday living?
I would rally back to my identities in New York, or
okay.
I eat everything. I do. I would say my day-to-day life, what I make most often is probably gonna be Jamaican food,
What's that?
I love.
Someone says Jamaican food. What comes to mind?
Even Jamaican food is complex because of colonialism and slavery, and then we also have indentured servants from Asia and in India, it's a mixture of things. So we have things like curry chicken, we have fried dumpling, we have cooked dumpling, we have bami, from the Native Americans that were there. They were the ones who made bami, and even barbecue. That was their thing, jerk chicken, and those types of things. Oxtail, because the people who were enslaved, they were given parts of the animals that weren't considered clean or the best parts. So that's why we have oxtail, and we make that, and we have something like chicken foot we put in our soup, and that's a part of my culture as well. And ackee and sawfish is our national dish. Ackee came from Africa, and the Africans brought it there. So it's the food itself, it's complex, just being from Jamaica, and then being a child who grew up in New York. When I go clubbing on the weekends, my friends and I, we're hitting up K-Town, and we're eating Korean food all the time, and there's food trucks, and I there's so much food. So I would say it is a
so even
complex.
Even food itself, there's complexities in that.
Yes. So
okay, let's make one more attempt or another attempt in trying to unbundle this complexity. So
but
let's
why
say,
do we have to unbundle it? Can't it be complex?
Maybe let that be our conclusion. Yeah. But let this be some sort of experiment, trying to unbundle this identity. Let this be some 10-minute experiment, trying to unbundle that. If at the end of the day we conclude that it's just complex and we have to accept it and live within that complexity, okay, then that becomes our result for the experiment. So let's go to Jamaica. Being a Jamaican, what does that even mean? What does that look like? When it comes to identity as a Jamaican, leave the American part. I know you're American, Jamaican, whatever. Let's try to, not divide, but kind of make the Jamaican in you stand out. What does that look like? Does that exist for you, being Jamaican-American?
Being Jamaican-American, I would say, through my studies, specifically with Marcus Garvey, that, his presence in the U.S., but also being Jamaican, I see it run its course through the ways that my parents raised me, and through just the energy that I see when I'm back home with my family and my friends and my neighborhood. It's we are Black people, we are strong. We have great reasoning abilities. We think, and we're able to overcome anything, right? Growing up, my mom would often sing Bob Marley's Redemption song, and one part that always was always touching me is emancipate yourself from mental slavery. None but ourselves can free our mind, right? That was a quote that was taken from one of Marcus Garvey's speeches that Bob Marley put in his speech, and my mom sang to me. And we can look at like Marcus Garvey from like the early 20th century, and we're like 1920s, going to like the 70s and the 60s with Bob Marley, and then now like in the 21st century, my mom is singing me this song. We could see like history just lining up itself, right? So like that is like what really makes me, it makes me feel like, yeah, I'm a part of this group of people, Jamaican people, who even have this tongue called patois, to rebel against society, to like unite themselves, like as from like different tribes in Africa and different places in Africa. Like the language was created like on those slave ships, and through different like parts of like the world, you would see like, oh, they formulated a language with a combination of their different ones, and then they combined like English with that too.
It's sweet to the ears.
Yeah, like that just like shows like our own empowerment and like crafting of plans in order to combat slavery and colonialism. It's like, oh, there's so much strength in that, and there's so much like rationale and thinking, and it's like that is what is powerful. I can emancipate myself from whatever anybody wants to make me think or feel about myself. Like I choose that with my own mind. So that is what like,
makes you Jamaican.
Yeah, that's what I feel.
That's powerful.
That's what I feel. Yeah.
So let's talk about what makes you American then. Is it just being born here? I mean, if this kind of powerful history makes you Jamaican, an embrace of your history, I'm wondering when did your American history start? Do your American self start with you being born in New York, or did your American self start with the experiences of the Black diaspora that has been even as far back as you can go?
So, like, for me, you know, American history itself is complex.
Right? You're a scholar of American history.
We're going to go back to that. Everything's going to be complex.
Let's not go all the way. Let's not go all the way.
Yeah, we're not going to go all the way. However, like, I do see that same strength here in the United States, like, being, like, having, like, a Black American, like, conception of myself growing up and identifying with Black Americans. That is like definitely unique. Is something different, like from Jamaica, where it's like you don't always see yourself within your institutions. Like in Jamaica, I'll see Black people everywhere, from the government to the big businesses, to everywhere, you know. There's like that concept of like your race doesn't necessarily hold you back in Jamaica, but here in the United States, it could often feel that way. And you see that, you can interpret that like from what you see every day, from like how many of us are in a room, and the history we learn, you know, like I told you, we were like relegated to like 2 points in American history, essentially. And it's like always trying to like make space for yourself within your institution. And I feel like even you probably understand this, like from being in Northwestern, it's like we're always trying to create space for ourselves and our people and our cultures and our histories. And like that, I think, is very like uniquely American. And like it's part of the American experience, regardless like where you come from. It's like always doing that. And especially if you're Black, it's like we care so much about the narratives that are about our people. And it's not just, oh, you did that because of this. It's like, okay, like you're also representing us. Like there's so much more weight to everything that we do here as Black people, where I wouldn't necessarily see that. Like in Jamaica, it's like, oh, I did the wrong thing, you know, and that person, they didn't do anything. Like, and it wasn't like a racial component, maybe colorism, but that's another thing. But it's more like codified in our laws here, and like through American history, like separation of people, and then also like us fighting back and us thinking about if we should separate ourselves from this society that seems to be hell-bent on like oppressing us and suppressing us, and how do we find our voice? Like a constant like struggle to find yourself and to put yourself like out there and like do that despite any fears. I would say that's my American experience.
So, I mean, combining your Jamaican-ness and your American-ness, then you are Black Power yourself.
Yes, yes.
I mean, combining these two histories to who you are, you know, if something is going on, like, no, I have to create space for myself here. I belong to this space. You know, this is my space. You reclaim spaces. Okay, let's make a little shift to family.
Yeah.
Who was the immigrant? Your parents or your grandparents, or like how far away, how far ago?